I'm David Dudden. I'm the Facilities Director here at Spirit of Christ, and I'm here to share with you about St. Joseph. There is no real canonization date for St. Joseph. Turns out he was just assumed to be a saint by all the early Christians, so there's really not a date for him. Now, he is a patron saint of many things: fathers and families, pregnant mothers, travelers and immigrants, carpenters, craftsmen, and the patron saint of a happy death. Now, there's much we don't know about him, like how old was he? Well, there's some accounts that he was a few years older than Mary, maybe 20 to 25. But there's other accounts that have him as old as 90 and dying at 108, meaning he would have died when Jesus was only 18 years old. We don't really know, and it's not really documented. So it's kind of up for debate. So you see pictures of him at all different ages. What do we know about Joseph? Well, we know that he was definitely a descendant of David. That's in the scriptures. We know that he was Mary's husband. That's in the scriptures. We know that he was a righteous man. We know this because when Mary was found to be pregnant, he was going to send her away to the hills so that she was not stoned to death. He didn't want her to suffer that kind of pain and agony. We know that he was the foster father of Jesus. We know that Joseph was not a wealthy man. We know when he took Jesus and Mary to the temple, for Jesus to be circumcised and for Mary to be purified, he paid with 2 doves, basically white pigeons. And we know that he was a man of deep faith. 3 times he was approached by an angel, and he followed their direction immediately without question. Now, why do I like St. Joseph? Well, he was a carpenter. And I am also a carpenter. And I know as a carpenter, we are often forgotten. You see, as a carpenter, we build your house. We put your house together. We build all the floors and walls and the ceilings and the roofs that hold everything together, the structure that holds the base together. But what do people talk about when they come to your house? They look at your pretty tile and your pretty fixtures and your lights and your kitchen, and they talk about how wonderful it is, never realizing that if the carpenter hadn't been there to build it, that it would all fall apart. In many ways, Joseph did the same thing. He was the one that was in charge of teaching Jesus about his faith. He had to learn about the Jewish faith, and he had to learn all the scriptures. And we know that Jesus was teaching as an authority early in his life. So we know that obviously Joseph had to do a very good job at this. Now, the one thing about being a carpenter, people don't usually think about you until something goes wrong. Say the house collapses from a heavy snowfall or a big storm and the wind blows it down, a hurricane or a tornado. Then suddenly you hear about the carpenter, what he may have done. Well, Joseph was kind of forgotten about in the church. It wasn't until December 8th, 1870, that Pope Pius IX decided that March 19th would be a feast day for St. Joseph and made him the patron saint of the Universal Church. 1,800 years after he lived, he finally was given a feast day, and he was only the father of Jesus. A little bit later, Pope Pius XII made a feast day on May 1st. That was in 1955. And this was in response to the Communist Party's Workers' Day. So you can see carpenters are often forgotten about until they're really needed. Now, one other thing I really like about St. Joseph. He's the patron saint of pastry chefs. So, this March 19th, when you're thinking about St. Joseph, go to your local donut shop, get a coffee and your favorite pastry, and just think, maybe someday this could be you.